Okay, part 2 of this lesson, we're going to work on the irregular stem preterite. The regular preterite and irregular preterite from Unit 8, and now we're doing some more irregular stem preterite from Unit 9. Okay, like we said in the previous video, if you have a stem change in an AR-ER verb in the present tense, don't need to make the stem change in the preterite. If you have an IR stem change in the present, do need to make the stem change in the preterite, but it will only happen in third person singular and plural. And your only options for stem change are E to I or O to U. This is what we're going to practice. All right, so let's look at one that in the present, this would have a stem change. It would be an E to IE. Okay, but it is an AR verb. So do I need to make a stem change in the preterite? Nope. Just leave it alone. Take off my AR, rewrite my whole stem, add my endings for AR preterites. Recomiendo, present tense, becomes recomendé, preterite. Recomiendas, present tense, becomes recomendaste. Notice there's no stem change right there because it's an AR verb. Recomienda, recomendó. Of course, the nosotros form stays the same. And ellos, ellas, ustedes recomiendan become recomendaron. A synonym, write this down, to recommend is to suggest, sugerir, sugerir. This is a vocab word now. Now, present tense stem changing IR verbs do have a stem change in the preterite, but only in third person singular plural. Pedir, in the present, would change from E to I. That's great, because that's exactly the same thing it's going to do in the preterite. But it's only going to change E to I right here. It's not going to be a boot verb anymore. It's not going to be all of these guys. It's just going to be third person singular and plural. Okay? E will change to an I, right? And since this is an IR verb, I'm doing the purple, right? Pedí, pediste, change the stem. Pidió, go back to normal. Pedimos, change the stem. Pidieron. See, dormir in the present would go O to UE, but in the preterite it's just O to U. This is an IR verb, so I'm doing the purple. Dormí, dormiste, change the stem O to U, durmió. Back to normal, dormimos, back to the stem change, durmieron. Okay, so on the left side you have some examples of present tense IR stem changers. Divertirse, E changes to IE, dormir, O changes to UE, vestir, E changes to I. Okay? Compare it over here to the preterite one. Divertirse changes E to I, but only right here, third person. Of course, I'm using my preterite endings. Mead changes from O to U, but only down here. In person, singular and plural, use my regular preterite endings. Vestir, it's still an E to I, but it'll only happen in third person, singular and plural, preterite endings. These are the new IR stem changing verbs. There are some that you already know and a few new ones. These are the verbs that end in IR that change in the present and change in the preterite. Okay? If it's an E, it can only go to an I. If it's an O, it can only go to a U. So I'm going to go through all of these vocab words. A few of them you already had at the beginning of this unit. Sentirse fits also into this category of an IR stem change. Sentirse is to feel plus an emotion. So that E becomes an I. Okay, here's what it looks like in the present, me siento, and the preterite, me sentí. Notice I didn't do the stem change right there. Te sientes, te sentiste. Where's the stem change going to happen? Down here. Se siente becomes se sintió. Back to normal and back to stem change. Reírse, you've already seen this when we talked about vocab. Reírse is to laugh about. El chiste is one of those little vocabs that's popping in, the joke. Present is on the top, preterite is on the bottom. The E changes to an I only in third person singular plural. The other verb that you have already seen that was introduced to you with vocab is sonreír, is to smile. It's identical to reír, just put S-O-N in the front. Me sonreí, te sonreíste. Conseguir means to obtain or to get. Conseguir followed by an infinitive verb means to succeed in doing something. And you'll get practice with these verbs on your homework. Conseguir, that E changes to an I. Where? Only in third person singular and plural. Use your endings for, right here, here are your endings. IR preterite, so conseguí, conseguiste, stem. Consiguió, normal, conseguimos, stem, consiguieron. Despedirse means to say goodbye. Saludar means to say hello. These are opposites. Saludar you learned in 1411. Hardly ever used though, but this book will bring it back up that these are opposites. Despedirse, okay, this is an E to I, conjugated with as an IR preterite. De despedí, te despediste, stem change, se despidió, nos despedimos, se despidieron. Morirse, or it could also come up as morir. Morir is to die. Morirse is to die oneself. Morirse de la risa is to die laughing. You'll see it both ways, morir or morirse. Present is gone. Now we're just going to do preterite. Me morí, te moriste, se murió. Nos morimos, se murieron. Sugerir is to suggest. To suggest. Becomes an E to I. Sugerí, sugeriste, stem change. Sugirió, normal. Sugerimos, stem change. Sugirieron. Okay? That G followed by an E or an I has a ha ha sound, and it kept it right there. Ha ha ha. I don't need to make any changes with sound. Okay, so here's just a little snapshot of review. So we have our regular preterites. AR verbs will do that. ER verbs will do that. Dar, hacer, ir, and ser are stem changers. Okay, let's see if it's over here. Here it is. It's conjugated down here for you. So ser, all of these, ir, dar, and hacer. When you have a stem change, you also have a change in the endings. The ones that are stem change, you have the U ones, estuv, the I ones, which you know, hacer fits over there too, is, quis, vin. You have decir and traer are also stem change weirdos. And here's the correct, remember I was showing the I? No, it's not there, right? So drop the I and you'll have those endings and no accents, okay? If it changes in the present, IR, if it's an IR verb in the present and it's a stem changer, it also changes in the preterite. It will only change in third person and your only options are E to I and O to U. And there's an example. There it's a grammar sheet for you. You can print that out, take a screenshot of this, fill it out as you do this work, and then be able to use it as you do your homework effectively. Good luck.